can address issues causing your listings to be inactive or suppressed from customer search results. To access the Fix Your Products page, select the menu icon in the top left corner of Seller Central. Hover over Inventory and select Manage Inventory. Then, click Search Suppressed and Inactive Listings in the Listings Tools section of the Manage Inventory page. On the left side of the Fix Your Products page, you'll see current listing issues. You can sort them by the Completed with Issues or Incomplete Listings filters. Completed with Issues listings are those that you've submitted and that we've accepted into the Amazon catalog, but are either no longer buyable or no longer displayable to customers. Incomplete listings are those that you've submitted but that we haven't accepted into the Amazon catalog because they require more information. Below these options, you'll see your current number of inactive, search suppressed, and at-risk listings. To learn more about these categories, select the question mark icon next to each section's title. Suppressed listings, for example, are products we've removed from the Amazon store. Suppressions typically happen due to the product being a potential duplicate or missing a product detail page requirement, like a main image with a white background. You can also use the page's search field as well as the fulfillment, date of change, and fixability filters to locate a specific product or issue. When you're ready to address a listing issue, you can do so directly from the Fix Your Products page. Here are some examples of issues you can address from this page. You can add a missing core detail page requirement, like a product description or a compliant main image. You can address out-of-stock SKUs by updating the quantity or selecting restock. Or you can review a potential duplicate. If you determine the listings shown are not duplicates, choose These Are Not Duplicates to fix the issue. Most inactive or suppressed listings will go live about 15 minutes after you fix them, but certain scenarios may take longer to resolve since they require human review. These scenarios can include reviewing listings that are blocked or require approval. Your listing may require additional steps for reactivation that aren't currently included on the Fix Your Products page. If your listing remains inactive after fixing the issue, revisit the page to check if additional steps are required to reactivate the listing. We also recommend checking the Fix Your Product page regularly to help ensure that customers can find and purchase your products. This concludes our video on how to fix your inactive or search-suppressed listings in Seller Central. Thank you and happy selling in the Amazon store.
Hello everyone, and welcome to our session on Product Opportunity Explorer.
Welcome to our training on the Late Shipment Rate, or LSR. Today we'll cover what the LSR is and how it affects sellers in the Amazon store. Let's start by defining LSR. LSR measures the percentage of orders where shipment confirmation occurs after the expected ship date. You can find the expected ship date in order details. It's important to note that LSR only applies to seller-fulfilled orders, also known as merchant-fulfilled, or MFN. To calculate your LSR, your total orders are divided by those that were ship confirmed late. So if you've had 100 orders in the last 10 days and 2 of them were shipped after the expected ship date, you'll have an LSR of 2%. Sellers must maintain an LSR under 4% to continue selling in the Amazon store. An LSR over 4% can result in account deactivation. To view your LSR, head to the Performance tab in Seller Central and select Account Health. In the Shipping Performance section, select Late Shipment Rate. On this page, you'll see your LSR calculated for the last 10 and 30 days. It's important to confirm orders by their expected ship dates so your customers can see their order status online. Confirming late can lead to negative customer experiences, increased claims, negative feedback, and customer contacts. If your LSR is in jeopardy, you may be notified and given 30 days to remedy the situation. If you do not take action, you could risk account deactivation. Now let's review some top tips for improving and maintaining your LSR. First, be sure you only list items you're able to ship by or before their expected ship date. Next, work with your carriers to ensure they will be able to pick up your packages and scan them on time. Finally, ensure you confirm shipments with valid tracking information as soon as you hand over packages to the carrier. It's also possible that your business has grown during your time in the Amazon store to the point where you need to hire more staff to stay on top of orders. Create a daily reminder to check for and prepare orders. Making this a part of your daily routine can help you always ship on time. You can also use Amazon's Buy Shipping services to simplify the shipping process and remove your need to confirm shipping. To learn more about Amazon Buy Shipping services, search for Buy Shipping in Seller University. Preparing for increased order volume during key sales periods like the run-up to holiday seasons can help you maintain a healthy LSR. Finally, always check your account health dashboard regularly for notifications. This concludes our training on the late shipment rate. Thank you, and happy selling in the Amazon store.
Very important, or the most important. Next question.
Welcome to our training on the cancellation rate. Today we'll cover what this policy is and how it affects you as a seller in the Amazon store. Cancellations are a normal part of almost every sales operation and happen for a variety of reasons. Your cancellation rate measures all seller-canceled orders as a percentage of your total orders during a 7-day time period. This includes only the order and item cancellations that you initiate. Pending orders or items canceled by your customer directly on Amazon do not count towards your cancellation rate. To view your cancellation rate, head to the Performance tab in Seller Central and select Account Health. In the Shipping Performance section, select Pre-Fulfillment Cancel Rate. Here, you'll see your cancellation rate for the past 7 days. To maintain an active selling account, you'll need to keep your cancellation rate under 2.5%, as higher rates can result in deactivation. This metric affects your access to other features, like premium shipping. To access premium shipping, your cancellation rate must be under 0.5%. Now, let's discuss the different types of cancellations in the Amazon store and how they can affect you. If a buyer raises a standard cancellation request, it won't negatively impact your cancellation rate. However, if the buyer raises a non-standard cancellation request for reasons related to your listing or offer, your cancellation rate could be negatively impacted. If you, as the seller, raise a cancellation request, it will negatively impact your cancellation rate. Whether you cancel due to an out-of-stock item, an undeliverable address, or an unresponsive buyer, self-canceling an order will have a negative impact on your cancellation rate and account health. Out-of-stock items are the most common reason for sellers to cancel orders. While we understand that stockouts happen, we expect sellers to minimize these issues. Let's explore some tips for maintaining and improving your cancellation rate. First, only list items in your possession. Listing items you don't have on hand can cause cancellations, as you may not be able to fulfill the order in time. You should also keep an eye on your stock levels, especially if you sell in multiple channels. Canceling an order when a product is out of stock can often lead to negative feedback. To help, you can increase the frequency of your inventory updates from monthly to weekly or weekly to daily, for
Now
example.
let's check those poll results.
Be sure to dedicate
few minutes
inventory
ago, we
specifically for Amazon
How important
listings.
to your business
Selling
is
in
adding
multiple
new
stores can get
products?
complicated, so dedicating inventory
said
specifically
it's
to your
very
Amazon
important to the
listings
most
can
important
help
thing
avoid
you do
stock
to
issues
drive
and cancellations. Finally, be sure to keep
What
pricing
percentage of new
accurate
products
at
that
all
you launch
times.
succeed?
Canceling an order due to an accidentally low
distribution
price
here.
can
I'm
result
actually
in
pleased to
negative
see how
feedback
many
and hurt your
say that all of your
cancellation rate.
products succeed.
So what should you do if the
What we
buyer's
see
provided
internally
address is
that,
undeliverable?
it's hard
If
to
you
launch
haven't
your
shipped the
products
order yet, you can contact the buyer through buyer-seller messages. You can request they cancel the order and place a new one with the
What
correct or
information
updated
would most help
address.
you to launch
Or
more
what if you
successful
need more
products?
details to fulfill the order and the buyer is
Overwhelming winner
unresponsive?
here is
If you
customer
haven't shipped the
search and
order
purchase
yet,
behavior.
you can cancel the order and
But it looks like
contact
you'd
the
also
Amazon
like
seller
a lot
support
more
team
data.
to explain why the order was
We've
canceled.
heard the request for more data so you can evaluate opportunities yourself.
Welcome to the
Product
video on
Opportunity
creating an
Explorer
effective
provides
plan of
you over
action.
40 metrics.
If your account or
And the list is
listings are
growing.
deactivated, specific
get
actions may
brand
be needed
and
to bring your
async
product
share,
listing
so you
or
can
account
evaluate how
in compliance
fragmented
with Amazon
and needed.
policies.
The search
Please
volume,
refer to
search
instructions in the
conversion, and
relevant
banded units
performance
sold to evaluate
notifications
the size
and
of the
account health
opportunity.
section in Seller Central to
Many
find
of the
specific
metrics
enforcement-related
include
actions
quarter-over-quarter
and potential
and
next
year-over-year
steps.
slices. So
For an
you can
account
evaluate
deactivation,
trends,
submit an appeal by
seasonality,
locating the
and
specific
durability.
notification in the Performance
We include the
Notifications
percent of
section.
products that are prime.
For listing level
And the sponsored
violations,
product rate.
submit an
So
appeal
you can
in
estimate
Account
the
Health
cost
under
of
the
selling
Performance
in a
tab.
niche. We're excited
Please make
about the
sure to
metrics
log
we have
into the
today.
marketplace,
We
example
have a long
US
list of
or
other
Canada
metrics
or
we'll be
Mexico, where the
also
deactivation
want
or
to hear
violation occurred to
You
submit
can
an appeal.
request new metrics and provide
A plan of
feedback
action or a
directly in the
POA
experience.
gives Amazon confidence that you will address the
Let's take a look
identified
at today's
issue
experience.
and help us make a reinstatement
thousands of
decision
you
on
have
your
access
account
today,
or listing
and we're
by
adding more
considering
every
a
week.
holistic perspective of
You'll
your
find
specific
Product Opportunity
situation.
Explorer in the Growth
First,
tab in
let's
Seller
dive
Central.
into a plan of action, which
Once
typically
there,
includes the
You'll
following
have the
3
option
elements.
to search or browse for
Identify the root
opportunities.
cause of the issue
see
or identify the
suggested
problem
niches,
that
which are
led to the
recommended
account
based on your own
deactivation or
sales
policy
history.
violation.
To really
Explain
see
the actions you have
experience and the
already
power of the
taken to
data,
resolve the issue for
let's
your
step through a few
customers.
examples.
Provide a solution
I'll
so
do
the
this
issue
through
will
the
not
eyes of
happen
sellers
again
we've
in the
talked to
future.
throughout the development
Do's of a
process.
plan of action. 1.
But
Be
don't
clear
worry,
and concise.
I've changed their
Your
names
plan of
and the
action should be
products to maintain
factual
their
and direct.
confidentiality.
Focus on the facts and
First,
events that caused the
I'll share an
issue.
example from Great Homes
2.
and Gardens.
Provide an explanation for all issues.
Homes is a
Some
brand owner.
deactivations can be the
They
result
look
of a
for
combination
trends
of
that they can
issues.
capitalize on
For
and are
example, a
open to
high order
broad range
defect
of
rate can
opportunities
arise from
within the
negative
category.
feedback and undelivered
After 18
orders.
months of the pandemic,
You must
being
provide a
home more
response
than
for
usual,
each root
let's
cause
be
in your
honest,
plan of action.
doing a lot of online
3.
shopping.
Include supporting evidence
They
for
have
all
an idea that
items.
people will want to
Make sure
tidy
you
up.
submit supporting evidence for all of
They
the products
investigate
or
packing
ASINs that are
cues
under
as a starting
review.
point.
You can find the list of products
In
at the
addition
bottom
to
of your
surfacing the
original
primary
notification.
Packing.
Make sure to check the time
We
frame
surface
requested for
other
the
key search
documents,
terms
as some
that are
require
driving
invoices
traffic to
from the
products
last
within this niche.
365 days.
They can immediately
4.
see that
Highlight
search volume
areas
is
in your
growing
supporting
significantly
documents.
over the last 90
You
days.
can make your response more
And the
relevant
total
by
volume is
circling or
almost
highlighting the areas
800,000
within your
searches
documents
with
that are most
100,000 units
important,
sold.
such as ASINs,
This is a
supplier
rounded number,
details,
but it gives you
for
a sense
example
of the
name and
size.
supplier website, or clauses
They
within
can
your
also
terms
see
and
the number
conditions.
of products within the niche
Don'ts
and
of
the
a
average
plan of
selling
action.
price.
1. Don't
This data
recycle
gives
an
them a
old
quick
POA
first
or
pass
resubmit
of the
a previous
opportunity
appeal if your account or listing is
Packaging
deactivated for
kids
the
and
same
clear
reason.
packing cubes,
Try to
which would be
understand
too
if the
small
root
to
cause
enter
has
now.
changed or
But they're
consider
growing
implementing
quickly
alternative
and could represent
solutions.
an opportunity to optimize.
Only submit a POA that addresses the issues for the current
So some of the
enforcement.
most relevant niches
2.
for packing
Don't
cubes
have
were
your account
fairly
manager
small in
or an
search
outside
volume.
agency write a POA
Great
on
Homes
your
wants to
behalf.
focus on larger
You will address the
opportunities.
issue. You are
They can
best
apply
positioned to
filters on
understand your
each of the
business
metrics.
and identify
To
solutions.
start, they set a minimum
3.
search volume
You do
of
not need to
50,000.
provide an introduction of your product, business, or
You can
customer.
see this has changed the results.
4.
now they're
It
getting
is
some
ideal
larger
to not
niches
include
that are
questions or
related to
references to
packing cubes,
ongoing
but aren't
support cases in
directly
your
packing.
submission. 5.
So now,
Emotive
better
language
homes
should
can
not be
focus on
used.
opportunities that are
Focus on the
sufficiently
facts
large
and how you plan to
and
address the
growing.
issues. 6.
Now
Don't
that
focus
great
on
homes
what
have found
happened
a
in the
niche they
past
want to
or provide
investigate,
short-term or
they can
reactive
click through
solutions
the
to the
niche
issues.
details to learn more.
Understand what went wrong
The
and
first
use
tab
that information
allows
to
them to
identify
deep dive the products
solutions
within the
to
niche.
prevent the same issue from happening
start,
again in the
They
future.
want to understand how
7.
concentrated
It is
demand
not
within the
recommended
niche.
to list all possible
The top
solutions
product
and
has
things you will
13%
do
click
in the
share
future.
and a meaningful
A
absolute
POA
number
should
of
be
clicks.
specific and highlight steps
Products
you
in the
have
niche
already
also
taken
have a
to address
healthy
the
number of
issue.
reviews.
Here is a summary of
They
all
can
do's
also
and
see
don'ts
the
we
bestseller
discussed.
ranking, average offer count, and
Sometimes you may be required to send supporting documentation
reminder,
along with your plan of
niches are
action.
clusters of search
For
terms that
example,
represent
invoices
unique
or other
customer
supply
needs.
chain documentation may be
On this tab,
requested for
Great
certain
Homes can
policy
see the top
violations
search
or
terms within
customer
this niche.
complaints.
They
You
can
should
see
always keep
how each term
invoices
is
and
growing,
any other relevant
the click
records
share it
for
drives,
all of your products sold
the
on
conversion
Amazon.
rate for the term,
Invoices
and the
must be
top
clearly
3 ACEs that are
identifiable
clicked
and must
based on
include
that
the
term,
details,
with
like
links
your
through
name and
to the detail
address,
page.
supplier's name, address,
This
and
page
phone number.
gives an
It
idea
can be
of how
beneficial to
customers are
add supplier
discovering products
information
within the niche.
within the appeal in order
Most
to
are
help
using the term
investigators
packing,
verify the distributor's
though there is
supplier
some traffic
credibility.
coming from more specific
Include
search
details
terms.
like issue date,
This
invoice
data
number,
helps to further understand
quantity
the
of
customer need,
inventory,
and where
product
there may be an
names,
opportunity to focus on
ASIN.
different search
If the
terms.
ASIN in question is not clearly identifiable
move to
from
the
the invoice
Insights
line
Insights
description,
tab.
you can highlight
is
the
my
line
personal
item for the
favorite.
ASIN that is under review
Here,
and
Great
rescan the
Homes gives
invoice to submit.
additional metrics that
This will help
describe
eliminate
the opportunity,
confusion and expedite
cost
the
of
review
competition,
process.
and likelihood
Make
of
sure
success.
the image quality of all
You can
documents
see
are
the
clear,
click share for
not
the top
grainy,
5
not
and
cut
top
off,
20
and all
brands
your
and products.
information matches the information you
Now,
have entered
Great
in
Homes
Seller
sees that
Central.
This niche has
You may
high
obscure
number of
pricing
customer
information,
reviews,
and you are encouraged
low
to highlight the
successful
item
launch
under
rate,
review.
and no
If your
new products
invoice does
launched
not
in the
meet these
last 90 days.
requirements, please
While
tell
the
us when you
volume is
submit your
growing,
appeal
it may
and
be
explain
hard
why
for
you
them
are
to
not
predict.
able to supply an invoice in the
Let's
required
investigate
format.
another idea.
We will consider this
Great
information
Homes
during the
knows that
review
we've been spending
process.
a lot of time at home.
This wraps up our
And if your
video
house
on
is anything
creating an
like mine,
effective plan of
it could
action.
use some freshening
Thank
up.
you, and happy selling on
Today,
Amazon.
look at throw pillows. A splash of color without taking up too much space. People are still buying a lot of those packing cubes after all. They're encouraged by the overall high
Welcome
search
to our
volume.
training on Amazon
And the
anti-counterfeiting
customer needs column
policy
shows a lot of
compliance.
variety,
The tips we'll share in
indicating
this
customers are
video
looking
don't
for
take the
similar
place of
products
legal
in
advice,
different ways.
so remember to consult a lawyer if you have
Great
any
Homes
specific
wants to focus on
anti-counterfeiting
growing
or
opportunities
intellectual property
and filters
questions.
for niches with
When you
5%
list products
more
in the Amazon store,
search
you'll
volume
need to
growth
comply with
quarter-over-quarter.
all applicable laws and Amazon policies.
This brings up pink throw
One of
pillows,
these policies
which
is
has a
the
good
Amazon
absolute number of
anti-counterfeiting
searches
policy,
and is
which
growing
helps
quickly.
ensure that all products in the Amazon
Digging
store
deeper,
are authentic.
They notice a
When you
theme
sell
amongst the
in
top
the Amazon
products.
store,
Two
you
pack,
agree that all
pillow
of your
cover with
products
no
are
insert,
authentic.
furry
Some
or velvety.
examples of inauthentic
This
or
provides some
counterfeit
additional
products
color
include
on why the
bootlegs,
average selling
fakes,
price was relatively
pirated
low.
copies of products
Roughly
or content,
$16.
products that have been
Customers are
illegally
seeking
replicated,
covers versus full
reproduced, or
pillows.
manufactured, and products that infringe
Great
on
Homes
another
at this
party's
point
intellectual
wants to
property
better
rights.
understand what customers
To help
do
avoid selling
and do
counterfeit
not like
and
about the
inauthentic
products
products,
within the
we
niche,
recommend sourcing your
and does
products
some
from a
customer
reliable
reviews
supplier
investigation.
and verifying that they're
They
authentic
notice in the
before you
reviews
list
that the
them.
top complaints
In
are
certain
zipper
cases,
and
an
fabric
Amazon
quality.
selling partner will
This
list
is
an
good.
authentic
The
product,
top complaints are
but
specific
customers or
and
other
addressable.
sellers might think it's
That
inauthentic.
presents an opportunity
To
for
help
Great
avoid
Homes.
this misunderstanding, we recommend
Continuing
listing
their
and shipping
investigation,
products in the
Great Homes
manufacturer's
moves to the
original
Insights tab.
packaging and refraining from altering
They
or
notice the
removing the
large
brand's
number of
packaging,
brands
which
and
contains
lower brand
important
age for
product
this niche.
information.
And the brand
Let's
to product
review an
ratio is
example
small.
of a product listing that doesn't
This
comply
looks
with
like
our
a niche new brands
anti-counterfeiting
can break
policy.
into.
A seller lists
The
a
out-of-stock rate
handbag
is
in the
high,
Amazon store.
which also
On
suggests
its
new offers
product
have a
detail
good
page,
opportunity
the
to
seller
succeed.
notes that the handbag is from brand
So to
ABC.
recap, Great
A
Homes
customer sees the
investigated two
product listing,
opportunities,
notices the
packing
brand name
cubes
product's
and
low
throw pillows.
price, and makes a purchase.
On the surface,
When the
both
handbag
looked like
arrives, the
areas where they
customer
could launch new
discovers that the
products.
handbag isn't
As
one
they
of the
dove
brand's
deeper,
authentic
though,
products
they
and
saw the
contacts
packing
Amazon.
cubes had little room for
In this
differentiation
example,
and
the
would be
seller
hard to
has
break into.
violated the Amazon
Throw
anti-counterfeiting
pillows
policy.
had a variety of
Sellers
clear,
who don't
had
comply
variety
with this
and
or
clear
other
areas
selling
where
policies
customers
may
were
experience the
dissatisfied with
following.
existing
The
solutions.
listings that are in violation may be suspended.
Using product opportunity
Their
explorer,
funds may be
Great
withheld
Good Homes was able to eliminate one opportunity
Amazon's funds
and
withholding
refine
policy.
a second to launch a
Their
product
FBA
more
product
targeted at
inventory
customer
may be
needs.
removed or disposed of in accordance with applicable
Our
laws
next
or
seller
Amazon's
is
Business
Goodman's
Solutions
Garments.
Agreement. and their
reseller
selling
of a
account may be
variety of
either
apparel
suspended
brands.
or deactivated.
They prioritize
When
opportunities
you and
with
other
high
sellers
search volume
comply with the
and low
anti-counterfeiting
competition.
policy, you help
Once
ensure
they find an
customers can
opportunity,
trust the products
they
they buy
source
in the
existing
Amazon
brands from
store.
their current suppliers.
To review the Amazon
Based on their
anti-counterfeiting
previous success
policy,
with mom
search
jeans,
for
they search
anti-counterfeiting
for an
policy
adjacent
in Seller
opportunity
Central.
in jeans women.
This concludes our training on
They
how to
want to
comply with
understand
the
if
Amazon
there are related
anti-counterfeiting
trends and
policy.
ways to build on the
Thank you,
success
and
they've
happy
already
selling
had.
in the Amazon store.
In jeans women, they see a lot of volume in jeans for women, white jeans for women, but the volume is declining over the last month.
Welcome to the training on how to
get more
respond to an
specific,
anti-counterfeit
Goodman's
performance
likes to
notification.
prioritize high
When listing
overall
products
search
on our
volume
store, you
as
must
much as
comply with
volume
all
growth.
applicable laws and Amazon
They
policies.
filter for
It's important to
100,000
note that
in
the
search volume or
information
more,
contained in this training
and
does not
sort
constitute
by
legal
the
advice,
highest volume.
and you should consult a lawyer if you have
This
any
surfaces
specific
an
product
opportunity to
anti-counterfeiting
investigate further.
questions.
Denim skirts.
Authenticity-related performance
high-volume
notices
niche
indicate
that is
your account
also
has
growing
violated
almost
the Amazon
30% in the last 90
anti-counterfeiting
days.
policy.
The average
Performance
selling price is
notifications
around
are displayed in
$25,
Seller
which is
Central's
in line
Performance
with the level they
Notifications
look for.
page.
So they
If you
keep
receive a
investigating.
performance notification, you should
Goodman's
address the
takes a look
behavior
at the
described
products
in the
within the niche
notification.
and their metrics.
If you want to submit an appeal, you should
Sorting by
submit this
click
as soon
share,
as possible.
they can see the
Please
click
be
share
aware
for the top
that it's a
items
violation
is
of
low.
Amazon policy to open a
demand
new
is spread
account
out,
if you have an
and that's
active
good for
violation on an already
The
existing
number of
account.
sellers on each
How to
ASIN
submit
is
an
low,
appeal.
and there's a variety
When you
of
submit an
styles.
appeal for either a listing
This is also
deactivation
something
or an
they like to
account
see.
deactivation due to anti-counterfeiting
Taking a look at
policy
the search
violation,
terms, they
you
don't
will be
indicate
required
any
to submit
specific
copies
searches
of
for colors or
invoices from your
styles,
suppliers.
but confirmed
These
denim
invoices
skirt
must
searches
have been
are
issued
growing,
in the last
not only for the
365
quarter,
days and
but
display the issue
dramatically over
date.
the year.
Include all of
Especially
the
for more
ASINs
specific
requested
searches
and
like
highlight the
jean
ASINs
skirt
next to
and
the
denim
line
skirt
item
for
for
women.
clarity. Be issued before the
Digging
performance
into the top
notification
products and
date.
the lowest scoring
Reflect your
reviews,
sales volume during the
customers
last
are seeking
365
true-to-size
days.
skirts, not
Show the
junior
same
sizes,
shipping address as the
and
address
fabric that
listed
is
on your
stretchy,
Seller Central
but not too
account.
thin.
Contain the contact information of your
growing
supplier,
customer demand
including name,
and
phone number,
customer
address,
dissatisfaction
and
with some
website. We
features
will
of the
protect the
product.
privacy of this information.
But are customers
And be of a
receptive to
quality
new
where all the
products?
information is clearly visible.
Now, moving deeper into
We
the
don't
data
accept
for the niche,
invoices that have been
Goodman's
digitally
can look at the
manipulated or
distribution of
tampered
click
with.
share
You
between
may
the top
remove the
5
pricing
and top
information
20
from these
products.
invoices, but all other
relatively
information
low
must
for both.
remain visible. We will
Reinforcing
use this
what Goodman saw
documentation
in
to
the
verify
product.
the authenticity of your product.
Demand is
If you
distributed,
believe that
and
you have
customers
received
are
a
looking
product
at purchasing a
authenticity and
wide
quality
variety of
performance
products.
notification in error, please submit
The
an
number of
explanation
sellers
with
is
your
low,
appeal,
and the
and we will
out-of-stock rate is
investigate
high,
your concern.
which also lends
To submit
itself
an
to new
explanation, scroll to the bottom of the
So let's
account
recap.
reactivation page
Denim
or
skirts have
listing
growing
reinstatement page.
Low
Click the
competition
Please
from
Provide
other
an
sellers.
explanation here link.
No strong customer
In the text
preference
box that appears,
for
provide
specific
an
styles,
explanation of why your
but
account
better
or
sizing
listing
and
should not be
stretchier options.
deactivated, and click Next.
It looks like a good
Upload
opportunity
any
to
supporting
source new
documents
products that
along
will
with
meet
your
customer needs.
explanation by either drag and dropping or selecting the
Our
files.
last seller
The supporting
is Modern
documents
Core.
can be
They're
invoices,
a brand
receipts,
owner
or
of
letters
many
of
brands,
authorization from
each
brand
with an
owners.
Amazon storefront.
Once all of the
Therefore,
documents have been
They
uploaded,
look for
click
opportunities
Submit.
in several categories.
Once you have gathered
They're
all your
willing to
documents,
compete,
sign
even
into your
if it's
Seller
highly
Central
competitive,
account.
if the
Go
search
to the
volume still
Performance
justifies
tab
an
and choose
investment.
Account Health. To reinstate
They
a
aim
listing
to
that has been
achieve a bestseller
deactivated,
ranking
go
of
to your
25
Account
to
Health
30,
dashboard.
and they have
Scroll
strength
down
and
to
item
Policy
data quality,
Compliance.
better
Click on the
detailed
Compliance
pages,
Violation,
good price
where you will
points,
be taken to the
and
Product
brand
Policy
recognition.
Compliance page.
The
Click
product development
Appeal
team has
next to the
initial
policy
market
violation.
research that
This will
furniture
take you
covers
to
are
the
growing in
Reinstate Your
popularity.
Listing page. You can also
Maybe
get to the
it's all the
Reinstate Your
COVID
Listing
dogs,
page by going to
or just the
Performance
extra
tab
time we're spending
and
at
choose
home.
Performance Notifications, where you will
Following
find a
this
list
idea,
of all of your
they start by
notifications.
searching for couch covers.
Click on the Performance
They want to-
Notification.
they
Ensure
want
that you read
established
all of
volume,
the information
so
in
they
the
filter on
notification
search volume
carefully.
and units sold.
Click Appeal next to the
They notice
Performance
a lot of
Notification.
variations
You
of
will be
couch.
taken to the
Love
Reinstate
seat,
Your Listing page,
sectional,
where you will
futon,
submit the requested
But they
documents.
click into couch cover
To
due
reactivate
the
a
overall search
deactivated
volume,
account, click
which
the
is 5
Reactivate
times
Your
greater
Account
than the
button
size
in
of
the
the
top
next largest
right-hand
niche,
corner of the Account Health
and growing
dashboard
faster
page.
than other niches.
This will take you to the Reactivate Your
Looking at
Account
the top
page.
products,
Similar
they
to
start to
Reinstate
notice
Your
some
Listing, listing, you can also get to the Reactivate Your Account page by going to Performance tab and choosing Performance Notifications. And, as in the listing reactivation, click on the Performance Notification. Make sure that you read all of the information in the notification carefully. To appeal the performance notification, click Appeal field next to the performance notice where you will be taken to the Reactivate Your Account page. We will now take a look at the documents we discussed at the beginning of this training. These are the documents that you must submit to reinstate your account or listing. Before you upload the documents in either the Reinstate Your Listing page or Reactivate Your Account page, check that they meet the requirements. The issue date is visible. The product name is visible on all documents. Sales volume of the product is reflected for the last year. Your supplier's information is provided. Don't forget to select the checkboxes once you have confirmed that your documents meet the specific requirements. Upload your documents by either drag and dropping or selecting the files. Once all of the documents have been uploaded and the checkbox is checked, click Submit. What happens after an appeal is submitted? Once you have submitted an appeal, we will review your documents. Please note that we may reach out to the supplier to verify information, but you can be assured that we will always maintain strict confidentiality of your supplier's information. If your appeal is successful, your listing will be reinstated, and if your account was deactivated, it will once again be active. Remember that you can view the anti-counterfeiting policy by going to Seller Central's homepage. Type anti-counterfeiting policy in the search field located in the top right corner of the page.
The demand for couch covers is meaningful and growing quickly.
Welcome to our training on Amazon's product detail page policy compliance. When you sell in the Amazon store, you must comply with all applicable laws and Amazon policies. The product detail page policies are in place to ensure that customers have a clear and consistent buying experience. They also ensure that only one unique product is on a single product detail page.
As I mentioned earlier,
the product detail page policies require that all sellers comply with store-style guides, accurately describe and categorize products, make sure that variations are only added to the product when appropriate, create new detail pages for new products or versions. They also require that sellers don't duplicate a product detail page where one already exists for a product, don't include inappropriate content, links, contact information, requests for reviews, or any advertising on their product detail pages, and don't add details that infringe upon the IP rights of any third party. Our policies also do not allow for the incorrect modification of detail pages. We only allow detail page updates that improve the detail page. This includes improving the accuracy of the content or making the content grammatically correct. Accordingly, we consider a detail page to be incorrectly modified when, as a result of changes to a listing, the product is no longer accurately described or is described less accurately than it was before the change. As an example, let's consider any company trading who aren't in compliance with the product detail page policy. Any company trading lists a branded handbag in the Amazon store. While they don't own the brand, they have appropriate documentation to sell this branded bag. Once listed, any company trading returns to their listing. Hoping to promote their name to customers, they update the detail page to include their own name, any company trading in the ASIN title, as well as in the product description. Any company trading is not in compliance with Amazon's detail page policy, as they change the information on the product's detail page, making the branded handbag's title and description inaccurate. It's important to remember that failure to comply with any of Amazon's policies may impact your ability to sell in the Amazon store. You can review our product detail page policies by going to Seller Central's homepage and typing product detail page rules into the search field. Note that the information contained in this module doesn't constitute legal advice, and you should consult a lawyer to ensure that you have appropriate checks and procedures in place. This concludes our training on Amazon's product detail page policy compliance. Thank you, and happy selling in the Amazon store.
Maintaining your seller account health is important to successfully selling on Amazon. The health of your selling account depends on performance metrics and policy compliance, which we will cover later in this video. To track your account health, refer to the Account Health section under the Performance tab in Seller Central. This will show if you have any listing violations, listings that have been deactivated, listings that are at risk of deactivation, and also account level actions taken. In this video, we will provide an overview of what account deactivation and listing level violations are, why Amazon takes these actions, and how you should address them. Account and listing level deactivations are used to help create a trustworthy shopping experience on Amazon. They help protect customers, brands, and our selling partners from fraud and abuse. Account or listing level deactivations are usually a temporary action that limit your ability to sell on Amazon. These actions are taken when Amazon identifies one or more policy violations. If an account or listing deactivation or listing level violation is not addressed, it may lead to permanent deactivation of your selling privileges on Amazon. To avoid account deactivation or listing level violation from happening, you should ensure that you are adhering to selling practices in accordance with Amazon's policies and business solutions agreement. In addition, you should closely monitor your account health in Seller Central. You can find relevant performance metrics and notifications for account deactivations and listing level violations under the Performance tab in Seller Central in the Account Health section. The Account Health section shows performance metrics and listing level violations. You are expected to monitor your performance metrics and appeal any listing level or account violations that appear in the Account Health. If these are not successfully appealed, your account may be deactivated in accordance with your performance metric targets. Account Health is divided into 3 sections: customer service performance, product policy compliance, and shipping performance. Customer service performance. This consists of order defect rate, ODR, and invoice defect rate, IDR. Let's dive into each one of them. Order defect rate is a key measure of your ability to provide a good customer experience. It includes all orders with one or more defects represented as a percentage of total orders during a given 60-day time period. The following are the 3 types of order defect rate: negative feedback rate, A to Z guarantee claim rate, and credit card chargeback rate. This issue most often stems from a buyer who didn't receive an order, or the product the buyer ordered is damaged when it was delivered. You can download the report to view specific violations if you have an account level or listing level violation due to a high order defect rate, ODR. Viewing this report may help you create a plan of action for reinstatement, which will be explained in detail in creating an effective POA video. The invoice defect rate, IDR, is all orders from Amazon business customers for which an invoice was not uploaded within 1 business day after shipment as a percentage of total orders from Amazon business customers. Amazon business customers expect invoices for tax and accounting purposes. In order to provide invoices to customers, you may activate the VAT calculation service within Seller Central and let Amazon issue invoices on their behalf at no cost. Recommended. Alternatively, invoices can be uploaded automatically via a third-party solution provider or manually via the Manage Orders page. We recommend that sellers maintain an invoice defect rate under 5% in order to provide a good customer experience. However, there is no penalty for not meeting the performance target at this time. Product policy compliance. This page in the Account Health tab contains all listing level violations. It is important that you appeal all violations through this portal on the Next Steps column. Listing level actions may be taken due to third-party violations, including intellectual property rights owners, buyers, and Amazon. The Product Policy Compliance page tracks the following violations: suspected intellectual property violations, received intellectual property violations, product authenticity customer violations, product condition customer violations, product safety customer violations, listing policy violations, restricted product policy violations, customer product reviews policy violations. Shipping performance. This measures your late shipment rate. The target is under 4%. Cancel rate before fulfillment and target is under 2.5%. And valid tracking rate and target is over 95%. If your late shipment rate or cancel rate are out of target, your selling account may be deactivated.
The Performance Notifications tab shows all of the account deactivation and listing level violation messaging, including your appeals and Amazon's replies to your appeals. It is important to understand what caused your account deactivation or listing level violation and what is needed to move forward. Carefully read your account deactivation or listing level violation notification to understand the reason and determine the root cause of the issue. When appealing, be sure to provide all the information and documentation requested in the performance notification. For some account deactivation or listing level violations, you may need to provide documentation verifying your identity, business documents, or invoices. It is important to ensure that you have correctly entered your business name and address in the Account Information tab under Settings. This helps in the verification of your identity, and this process also helps you navigate the appeal process more easily. If you operate multiple businesses, you may enter multiple addresses and business names accordingly. The notification informing you that your listing or account has been deactivated will include two parts: why the listing or account is deactivated, including the reason for deactivation, what is needed to appeal. Most often, you need to send a plan of action that explains the root cause, the actions you've taken to resolve the issue, and what you've done to ensure this issue won't happen in the future. We hope this video was helpful. Thank you, and happy selling on Amazon. Welcome to our training on Amazon's variation policy. When you sell in the Amazon store, you must comply with all applicable laws and Amazon policies. You can find our variation policy by going to Seller Central's homepage and typing ASIN Creation Policy into the search field. On the ASIN Creation Policy page, scroll down until you see the variation policy. Product variations are sets of products that are related to one another by an attribute such as size, color, or flavor. These products can be grouped together on one detail page. A product variation relationship is often called a parent-child relationship. We have certain criteria that must be met for a product to be variation eligible. All products in the variation relationship must be fundamentally the same. For example, the same shirt but in a different color. Vary in only a few specific ways, such as color and size, be expected to be found on a single product detail page, and be able to share the same title. We consider the following examples to violate our variation policy: changing the child products detail page so it doesn't match the parent product listed, changing the parent products detail page so it no longer matches the child product listed, and adding a multi-pack as a variation when the multi-pack was not created by the manufacturer. Failure to comply with Amazon's variation policy may result in account deactivation. Let's take a look at any company's listing. Any company listed a cell phone charging cable and a portable charger as variations of the same listing. Any company isn't complying with the variation policy because even though the products are related, they shouldn't be listed on the same detail page. As a reminder, more information on our variation policy can be found on the Amazon ASIN Creation Policy help page. This concludes the variation policy training. Thank you, and happy selling in the Amazon store. Welcome to our training on how to respond to a product variation performance notification. When listing products in the Amazon store, you must comply with all applicable laws and Amazon policies. Product variation performance notifications indicate your account has violated one or more Amazon variation policies. Please be aware that it's a violation of Amazon policy to open a new account if you have an active violation on an existing account. If you receive a performance notification, immediately correct the behavior described in the notification. If you want to submit an appeal, you should submit this as soon as possible. If your account has been deactivated because of a variation policy violation, you'll be asked for a plan of action. Search for Plan of Action in the search field on Seller Central or Seller University to find out more information.
Once you've gathered all the information needed for your plan of action, sign into your Seller Central account. Hover over the Performance tab and choose Performance Notifications. Click on the Performance notification. Make sure you read all of the information in the notification carefully. Click Appeal next to the notification. You'll be taken to the Reactivate Your Account page. You can also get to this page if you click the Reactivate Your Account button in the top right corner of the Account Health dashboard. On the Reactivate Your Account page, enter the root cause of the variation issue, the actions you've taken to resolve the issue, and the steps you've taken to prevent the issue from occurring again. Then click Next. You may upload supplemental information if you would like, but it's not required. Finally, click Submit. If you believe you received a variation performance notification in error, scroll to the bottom of the Account Reactivation page. Click the Please Provide an Explanation Here link. In the text box that appears, provide an explanation of why your account shouldn't be deactivated and click Next. You may upload supplemental information if you would like, but it's not required. Finally, click Submit. If your appeal is successful, your account will be reactivated. Remember that you can view the product variation policy by going to the Seller Central homepage. Type ASIN Creation Policy in the search field. Scroll down the ASIN Creation Policy page until you see the variation policy. This concludes the training on how to respond to a product variation performance notification. Thank you and happy selling in the Amazon store. Welcome to the video on understanding Amazon's multiple selling accounts policies. This video covers the following topics. 1. Overview of multiple selling accounts policies. 2. When does Amazon take action? The content in this video applies to all Amazon stores. Let us first discuss the multiple selling account policies. Sellers are considered to have multiple or related accounts when they own, operate, are involved with, or have access to more than one Amazon selling account. Sellers who have a legitimate business need to operate multiple selling accounts can do so. Sellers are not currently required to request approval from Amazon to open a subsequent selling account. If you do operate multiple accounts, either in the same or different regions, please ensure that you maintain all accounts in good standing. If any one of your accounts is deactivated for violating policy, Amazon may deactivate the other accounts you own. While Amazon recommends that all sellers transact through one account whenever possible, here are some examples of legitimate business needs. 1. A seller who owns multiple brands with different storefront names may maintain a separate selling account for each brand for ease of store brand maintenance. For example, a seller may sell brand X on one account and then wants to sell brand Y. If the seller needs to, they can open a new account to do so. 2. A seller who is selling products manufactured by two distinct and separate companies. For example, a seller is selling products from company X, and now they want to start selling products from company Y. They can open a new account to do so. 3. An Amazon program requires you to maintain separate accounts, such as the Amazon Renewed program. Let us now understand when does Amazon take action. All selling accounts that a seller owns must comply with the applicable selling policies and Seller Code of Conduct. Violating Amazon selling policies and Seller Code of Conduct, or any other Amazon policies, may result in actions against your accounts such as cancellation of listings, suspension or forfeiture of payments, and account deactivation. To understand what each of the points under the Code of Conduct mean, visit the respective page related to your regional Amazon store. If one of your selling accounts violates an Amazon policy and is deactivated, all accounts that you own or operate may also be deactivated. You will receive a notification about your related accounts violation. Use case number 1. You own two accounts for selling on Amazon, Seller Storefront 1 and Seller Storefront 2. Seller Storefront 1 receives a warning notice for manipulating your sales rank. There will be no immediate impact at this point to your Seller Storefront 2 account, but you should heed the warning on your Seller Storefront 1 account in order to avoid future impact to both Seller Storefront 1 and Seller Storefront 2 accounts. Use case number 2. Seller Storefront 1 receives an account deactivation notice for manipulating your sales rank. Your Seller Storefront 2 account will be deactivated because it is related to Seller Storefront 1. Seller Storefront 1 will need to be reactivated before your Seller Storefront 2 account can be reactivated as well. There are other topics related to Amazon's multiple selling accounts policies you should be aware of, including how to respond to a violation notice and best practices to remain compliant. Welcome to the video on addressing Amazon's multiple accounts policy violations. This video covers the following topics. 1. What can you do to address violations? 2. Best practices to remain compliant. The content in this video applies to all stores. Let us first understand how you can respond to a violation notice. If you receive a notification that a related account has been deactivated, this means that one of your existing accounts violated Amazon's policies. In order to reactivate your related account, you must first address the violation in the underlying account that was responsible for the policy violations by submitting an appeal for each violation. You can appeal by signing into the account that was responsible for the policy violations. You must appeal in each regional Amazon store in which the account has been deactivated for the policy violation. You can submit your appeal by accessing your account health dashboard. If your appeal for the underlying account that was responsible for the policy violations is accepted and the account is successfully reactivated, you can then appeal your related account. When submitting the appeal, you will need to provide us with the storefront name of the original account that was reactivated and the date of reactivation. Use case number 1. You own 2 selling accounts, Seller Storefront 1 and Seller Storefront 2. Seller Storefront 1 receives a deactivation notice for directing customers to an external site, circumventing the sales process. You then receive a deactivation notice on Seller Storefront 2 since it is related to Seller Storefront 1. You should log into your Seller Storefront 1 account and appeal the violation. If your appeal is accepted and the Seller Storefront 1 account is successfully reactivated, then log into your Seller Storefront 2 account and appeal through the Account Health dashboard by providing the storefront name of the original account that was reactivated and the date of reactivation. If you believe the related account deactivation happened in error, or you have never owned or operated another account, please submit an appeal through the Account Health dashboard and confirm that the account is not related to yours. If we do not receive evidence confirming the account is not related to you, the account will not be reinstated. If you previously co-owned or co-operated the underlying account with a former business partner, you would need to provide supporting documentation, such as a contract showing separation of the business relationship as part of the appeal. Please note that it's against policy to buy, sell, or transfer your account to or from another seller. Let us learn about the best practices to remain compliant. Sellers who have a legitimate business reason for operating more than one account and maintain all accounts in good standing will not be at risk for a multiple accounts deactivation. Please make sure you only create additional accounts if there is a valid business reason. Examples of valid business reasons include owning separate brands with different storefront names or selling products manufactured by different companies. When you receive notices or see alerts on your Account Health dashboard or performance notifications from Amazon that indicate you are violating Amazon's selling policies, please correct the behavior and submit an appeal if applicable as soon as possible. Opening a new account instead of addressing the underlying violations within your existing accounts is a violation of Amazon's policies and will only trigger an automatic deactivation on your related accounts. All sellers are responsible for understanding and adhering to the terms and conditions set out by Amazon's Business Solutions Agreement, which is part of the registration process and includes the selling policies and seller code of conduct. All sellers are expected to maintain and keep secure their own account information and credentials. In the primary account information, sellers should not list information of any third-party services they may be using to help manage the account. However, if you have engaged a valid third-party service, we recommend listing them. Welcome to the video on understanding Amazon's intellectual property policies. This module covers A, an overview of intellectual property (IP) policies. B, why Amazon takes action against IP infringement claims. Note that when you sell on Amazon, you must 1. Comply with all federal, state, and local laws and Amazon policies applicable to your offerings. 2. Not violate IP rights of brands and other rights owners. It is also important to note that Amazon's policy guidelines and the content in this video do not constitute legal advice. You should consult a lawyer if you have a specific question about your IP rights or the IP rights of others. Keep in mind that this module was developed specifically for sellers operating in the U.S. and provides an overview of U.S. policies. Policies in other countries would vary. Refer to the intellectual property help pages for country-specific policies. Let us first discuss what are Amazon's intellectual property IP policies. Amazon's IP policies comprise of 3 main categories. 1. Copyrights. 2. Trademarks. 3. Patents. 1. Copyrights. Copyrights are legal protections for original works of authorship. For example, books, paintings, videos, movies, songs, etc. Let us consider the example of ABC, who is a maker of flannel sheets and took the photos of the sheets shown here and thus owns the copyright for those images. If another seller copies these images to use on another product's detail page without permission, they would be violating ABC's copyright. Typically, federal agencies put in place laws to protect rights of creators. For example, in the United States, the Digital Millennium Copyright Act, or DMCA of 1998, governs online copyrighted materials. For more information on the DMCA and other copyright laws, visit the U.S. Copyright Office website at www.copyright.gov. For resources in other countries, refer to the FAQ help pages within your Seller Central account for a specific country. 2. Trademarks are legal protection for a word or words, symbol, design, or combination of the same that a company uses to identify goods and services. A logo or a brand is a good example of a trademark. A trademark essentially indicates the source of goods and services from a company and distinguishes them from offerings by another company. For example, Amazon is a trademark we use for many of our own goods and services. In our previous example, the trademark ABC appears in the brand name or byline portion of the product detail page shown here. The ABC trademark also appears in the product name portion of the product detail page. ABC flannel sheet set, King, Sage. Trademarks are registered in the country-specific trademark office. For example, sellers in the U.S. should register their trademarks with the United States Patent and Trademark Office, or USPTO. The USPTO also has other helpful resources at www.uspto.gov. For resources in other countries, check the FAQ page for trademarks through your Seller Central account. 3. Patents. Patents are legal protections for inventions. A patent grants the owner of the patent a right to exclude others from making, using, offering to sell, selling, or importing the invention into the United States for a specific number of years. For example, Amazon holds a design patent for the Amazon Echo speaker design. There are 2 key kinds of patents in the U.S., utility patents and design patents. In the U.S., patents are registered with the USPTO. Visit the website for more information and other helpful resources. For resources in other countries, check the FAQ page for patents through your Seller Central account. In addition to information available at federal agencies, you may also refer to the help pages on your Seller Central account for more information on IP policies. Next, let us discuss why does Amazon take action against IP infringement? Customers trust that they can buy with confidence on Amazon. Products offered for sale on Amazon must comply with all laws, regulations, and Amazon's policies. Amazon strives to protect the rights of intellectual property owners and to ensure that goods listed on Amazon do not infringe on any rights of the IP owner. Any violation of these policies may result in the loss of selling privileges and other legal consequences. If you believe that a product, packaging, or product detail page listed by another seller is infringing on your trademark, copyright, or patent, you may report the offer or entire product detail page to Amazon. To submit a notice of infringement, you must be a rights owner or an agent with permission from the rights owner. In order to report an infringement, you should also be logged into an Amazon account and would need to submit specific information, including specifics of the IP you believe is being infringed, nature of the infringement, product, packaging, image, text on the product detail page, etc., the list of infringing products, ASINs, URLs, etc., list of infringing sellers, supporting documentation, and your contact details. For more information on how to report a violation in different scenarios, what to include in your infringement notice, and what types of notices Amazon can and cannot accept, refer to the Intellectual Property for Rights Owners page under the Help section of your Amazon Seller Central account. Once a notice of infringement has been submitted, Amazon reviews the notice in detail before taking any action against the seller who has allegedly infringed the IP. Welcome to the video on addressing Amazon's intellectual property policy violations. This module covers A. Actions to be taken to address intellectual property violations. B. Best practices to remain compliant. Note that when you sell on Amazon, you must 1. Comply with all federal, state, and local laws and Amazon policies applicable to your offerings. 2. Not violate IP rights of brands and other rights owners. It is also important to note that Amazon's policy guidelines and the content in this video do not constitute legal advice. You should consult a lawyer if you have a specific question about your IP rights or the IP rights of others. Keep in mind that this module was developed specifically for sellers operating in the U.S. and provides an overview of U.S. policies. Policies in other countries would vary. Refer to the intellectual property help pages for country-specific policies. Let us first cover how to respond to an IP violation notice. Amazon takes any claims of infringement seriously, even for sellers that are infringing upon IP without their knowledge. You should consult a lawyer to ensure that you have appropriate checks and procedures in place to prevent IP infringement for all the products you sell. If you receive a notice of infringement, depending on the nature of the notice, you can take several actions to review, resolve, and reduce your risk of account deactivation. The Account Health tab shows the account deactivation and listing level violation messaging. From your Account Health dashboard, you will be able to submit an appeal, review pending appeals, and Amazon's replies to your appeals. Typically, infringement notices target a product offer or an ASIN for removal. If the infringement occurred only on the product detail page, you may appeal after you rectify the details on the product detail page and ensure that infringement does not happen anymore. If you believe that either the rights owner or Amazon made an error, you may dispute the claim and provide supporting documentation. The supporting documentation required depends on the nature of the notice and could include an invoice, an order ID, a letter of authorization, a licensing agreement, etc. Refer to specific instructions provided in the relevant notifications on your Account Health dashboard on Seller Central. For more information, refer to the policy pages in the Help section of your Seller Central account. Make sure to respond to individual policy level violations in a timely manner to help prevent account deactivation. If your account has been deactivated because of multiple notices of IP infringement, you will likely be required to submit a viable plan of action or POA. To learn more on how to create an effective POA and addressing listing or account level deactivation, refer to additional content on Seller University or to the appropriate help pages on your Seller Central account. Next, let us discuss the best practices to remain compliant with IP policies. It is important to note that this is not legal advice and does not provide a guarantee against violations. You should consult a lawyer if you have a specific question about your IP rights or the IP rights of others. 1. Always review existing intellectual property before creating or listing a new product. 2. Compare your products to existing trademarks and patents on the local governing body's website to ensure you are in compliance. 3. Ensure your supplier has valid rights or authorization. 4. Regularly review your account health dashboard to be aware of any risks to your account. 5. Use your own photographs and designs for your product listings or photographs or designs for which you have received permission to use from the creator. 6. If you want to indicate the compatibility of your product with a product of a different brand, in the product title, use the following title format for branded compatible products: your product's brand name plus product name plus for compatible with fits intended for plus brand of main product plus main product name plus other product title elements if applicable. For example, brand name power cord compatible with Amazon Alexa. 7. Maintain relevant records and documentations for your products, including invoices, letters of authorization, licensing agreements, and any other supply chain documents. 8. If you are not sure whether your product may be infringing, consult an attorney for help to ensure you have the right procedures in place to prevent IP infringement. 9. Appeal or dispute any listing level notices of infringement whenever possible to avoid further action on your account. This wraps up our video on addressing Amazon's intellectual property policy violations. Thank you and happy selling on Amazon. Welcome to the video on understanding Amazon's restricted products policies. Before we begin, note that this module was developed specifically for sellers operating in the U.S. and provides an overview of U.S. policies. Policies in other countries would vary. Refer to the restricted product help pages that can be accessed through your country's Seller Central account. Restricted products policies are put in place to protect Amazon's customers from products that are illegal, illegally marketed, unsafe, and offensive or prohibited by Amazon's policies. These policies also give customers confidence that all products available for purchase on Amazon are compliant with local laws and regulations. Further, within the U.S. itself, there could be state-specific guidelines. For example, some products are subject to additional regulation in the state of California. Make sure to check that your listings comply with all policies for each country where you sell. Let us first understand what are Amazon's restricted product policies. Restricted products include products whose sale on Amazon is prohibited or restricted in some way due to applicable laws or regulations. These products could include those that are prohibited for sale by Amazon or selling partners, restricted in certain geographies, and products that may not be cross-listed across countries or regions due to regional regulations and restrictions. For example, parts or products from federally endangered or threatened species are prohibited for sale by law. Similarly, products that are recalled by the manufacturer or any government or regulatory agency are prohibited for sale on Amazon. Amazon has help pages on a range of restricted products. Refer to the main restricted products help page for links that go into each restricted product category. You can check the category applicable to your listings to understand the policy guidelines and what is restricted and permitted within each listing. There is more information, resources, and links to applicable federal regulations on these individual help pages, so make sure to visit the ones relevant to your products. In the next few minutes, we will dive deep into two key restricted products areas on pesticides and pesticide devices and offensive and controversial materials to highlight important restrictions sellers should be aware of, particularly when creating new listings. Example 1, pesticides and pesticide devices. In the U.S., pesticides and pesticide devices must comply with the Environmental Protection Agency's Federal Insecticide, Fungicide, and Rodenticide Act, or FIFRA, and applicable state and local laws, including registration and labeling requirements. You may not be aware if you are selling products the Environmental Protection Agency, or EPA, considers as pesticides or pesticide devices, as it can be hard to identify which products qualify and why. The EPA classifies most products as pesticides or pesticide devices that are marketed to disinfect, repel insects, remove allergens, or prevent bacteria, or that make any other antiviral, antimicrobial, antifungal, antibacterial, or other pesticide-related claim. These claims are sometimes used in marketing a wide variety of products, including clothing, home goods, air and water filters, and lawn and garden products. EPA guidance on what is considered a pesticide or pesticide devices can be found on the EPA website shown here. Amazon's permitted listings include pesticides and pesticide devices that comply with FIFRA and all applicable state and local laws, including registration and labeling requirements. The sale of products of unregistered pesticides, example insecticide chalk, or pesticide products not intended for sale in the U.S., since they do not have an EPA registration number, are prohibited from a sale on Amazon. Further, pesticide products that make public health claims are also prohibited. For example, Amazon prohibits the sale of any product that is marketed to control or mitigate any disease, infection, or pathological condition. For more examples on prohibited listings, refer to the help page on pesticides and pesticide devices in your Seller Central portal. If a selling partner wishes to sell pesticides and pesticide devices on Amazon, you must first apply for approval to sell these products. Follow these steps listed on the help page to request for approval to sell a pesticide product on Amazon and by taking the Pesticide Seller e-learning course. Note that if you are not a U.S. resident, you are not permitted to sell pesticide products or pesticide devices on Amazon.com. Example 2. Offensive and controversial materials. Amazon aims to ensure a welcoming environment for global customers and sellers, hence values and promotes trust and respect. Amazon does not allow the sale of any products that promote, incite, or glorify hatred or intolerance. For example, the Confederate flag, including product images. These policies apply to all products except books, music, video, and DVD, which all have their own policies. Amazon also prohibits the sale of any products that depict child abuse or exploitation. For more details, refer to the help page on offensive and controversial materials in your Seller Central account. You can refer to the restricted products FAQs on the help pages of your Seller Central portal for additional information. This wraps up your video on understanding Amazon's restricted products policies. Thank you and happy selling on Amazon.
Welcome to our Compliance Reference Tool training. Thanks for having me.
Today, we'll introduce a tool to help you learn about compliance requirements and get the correct documentation when selling in the Amazon store. You're a new seller, right?
Right. I just made my account a month ago.
How's the selling going?
Well, I haven't started selling quite yet.
Oh well, tell me about your situation and let's see how I can help.
Okay, so I want to start selling in the Amazon store, but I'm not sure about one thing. What's compliance? Is that just following Amazon's policies?
Compliance isn't just about following Amazon's policies. It's about following the laws, regulations, and standards. If you're selling something like toys, there are different safety standards that your toys have to meet first.
Ugh, why are there so many rules? Do I have to do this?
You need to take safety seriously. If a product doesn't comply with safety standards, someone's health could be at risk.
That's a good point.
That's why, if your products don't have the right compliance documentation, your listings could get taken down, which might affect your account health. If you ship internationally, non-compliance items might get stopped in customs. And if you have inventory at Amazon fulfillment centers, it might be destroyed if it turns out you're not compliant.
We don't want that.
Nobody does.
So, how do I know what documentation I need? Do I just figure it all out myself?
You should always do your own research, but Amazon has a tool that can help you, the Compliance Reference Tool. You can access it from the page for adding products. You know where to find that page, right?
Yeah, there are two ways to do it from the main menu. One is by selecting Add Products under Catalog, and the other is Add a Product in Inventory.
That's right. And now that you're on the page for adding products, scroll down to find Compliance Reference. Learn compliance requirements and service providers for your products.
What's this?
Select Compliance Self-Assessment and find out.
It's a disclaimer.
That's right. Remember that it's your responsibility to have complete and accurate compliance information. The tool I'm about to show you is informational, but it's your job to make sure that you do everything correctly.
Makes sense. I'll select Confirm. Whoa, look at this.
This is the Compliance Reference Tool. It's a treasure trove of information. Just select the region you ship from and the store where you want to sell, and then enter your product type. Select a category from the drop-down menu and type a keyword, or search from the list. If you have an HS code, you can use that too.
What's an HS code?
It stands for Harmonized System Code. It's an international standard 6-digit tariff code for product categories. If you don't know what it is, don't worry about it. Here, it's just another way to find the product category you're using. Once you find a category, you'll see a product type description.
Okay, so let's say I'm looking at toys. So I start on the left and keep selecting as I move, right? Until I find the product type I'm looking for? Wow!
There's a list of the documentation information. Make sure you check the different information tabs too. For toys, there's one set for product compliance and another for dangerous goods compliance.
What if my product isn't listed here? Does that mean I don't need compliance documentation for it?
Not always. It's also possible that your product is in a different category than you thought. If you can't find your product, try looking at a similar product and see what compliance documents are there. Some of those may apply to your product. And even if you can't find a similar product, that doesn't mean you don't need compliance documentation. It may just mean that your product isn't in the database yet. Product compliance regulations may change, and while the compliance reference tool is updated frequently, it is your responsibility to make sure that you don't need anything extra that's not included in this list.
Got it. So I'll start with the documents listed here. But I don't know how to get all these certifications. Who can help me?
Scroll down.
Wait, is this?
It's a list of providers who may be able to help you get the documentation you need. Each provider's entry includes their name and the services they provide. It also shows you the country and city where you can find them.
It even shows their contact information. This is incredible. They're all in the same country, though.
Do you see the drop-down list at the upper right that says Country? You can select the country to see service providers in that region.
So this tells me who can provide the services I need and where I can find them?
It does more than that. Select the providers you're interested in by using the checkboxes. You can even select ones from several different countries. Your selections are attained when you change lists.
Okay, now what?
Scroll up to where it says Service Provider Pool on the right.
It says I've selected 3.
Right. Now select Create Report.
Oh, wow. It's a printable report.
This report lists the types of compliance documentation you need for your product type, as well as the service providers you selected. There's also a list of trade export compliance requirements for each SS code within that product type.
This is amazing. This tool does everything for me.
Not everything. You're still responsible for making sure the service providers are right for you and that their services are up to date. Remember that you may need to get help from service providers that aren't on this list, or even prepare some documents yourself.
Good point. But still, this lets me know where to start and saves me a lot of work.
That's true.
Thank you for showing me this. I was nervous about selling because compliance is so important. It'd be terrible if someone didn't get their order because I wasn't thorough enough with compliance. But now I can go right from the page for adding products and get a whole report about compliance for each product type I want to sell. And I can print it out or save it as a PDF so I can share with others who work with me.
That's right. And that concludes our training on the Compliance Reference Tool.
Thank you. Happy selling in the Amazon store. Welcome to our training Apply to Sell a Product, Category, or Brand. There are a few steps you should take before listing a product in the Amazon store. First, confirm that it's okay to sell. Make sure it's safe and complies with all laws and regulations. You should also review Amazon's restricted product and product compliance policies to verify that it isn't prohibited by Amazon and meets all product-specific requirements. Next, determine if the product requires any approvals. Although products can be listed in the Amazon store without approval, we require approval to list certain products, categories, and brands enrolled in Amazon Brand Registry. You can obtain approval for a product, category, or registered brand by completing a selling application in Seller Central. An application may include document requests, performance checks, and other qualifications. It's designed to help ensure that customers can shop with confidence in the Amazon store, knowing that products are safe and authentic. How will you know if your product requires an approval? We've built approval checks and applications right into the listing process. To list a product that's already sold in the Amazon store, hover over Inventory in the Seller Central main menu, then click Add a Product. Search for your product by using a product ID or GTIN like a UPC, ISBN, EAN, or JAN, or search using an ASIN or other ID paired with descriptive information like brand or product name. Next, locate the product you want to sell in the search results. If it requires approval, you'll see a Show Limitations link, which you can click to get a summary of listing requirements. Review the requirements, then select a product condition using the drop-down menu. You can click the Apply to Sell button and then the button on the selling application page to begin the approval process. The specific selling application you'll need to complete will depend on the product you're trying to list and the type of approval you need to secure. Let's review a selling application for a category first, then a selling application for a registered brand. On the selling application for category page, start by answering any product-related questions. Then review the list of requirements for the purchase invoice you'll need to upload. Check each box after you verify that your document meets each requirement. The purchase invoice you submit needs to be dated within 180 days and include your name and address, matching the information in your selling account. It also needs to include the name and address of the product's manufacturer or distributor and show a combined purchase of at least 10 units. That means the invoice should show a paid balance for at least 10 units, demonstrating that you own the inventory. If you're omitting the pricing for individual items on your invoice, check the box to confirm. Then check the box acknowledging that we may verify your document by contacting the manufacturer or distributor it identifies. After checking each required box, upload your purchase invoice. Make sure it's a high-resolution PDF file in the correct orientation. Then provide any optional comment that might help us assess your application, along with contact information we can use to ask follow-up questions. Click the Submit button to complete the application. If you need to complete a selling application for a brand enrolled in Amazon Brand Registry, you'll follow a similar process. On the Selling Application for Brand page, start by selecting the document type you want to upload as part of your application. You may upload either a purchase invoice for products from the brand that you received from a manufacturer or distributor, or a letter directly from the brand authorizing you to sell their products. For a purchase invoice, you'll need to submit a document that meets the same requirements we reviewed for a category approval. For an authorization letter, you'll need to submit a document that is dated within 180 days and includes your name and address, matching the information in your selling account. Your letter also needs to be on the brand's letterhead and include the name and address of the brand. Make sure it's a high-resolution PDF file in the correct orientation. After uploading either document, you'll provide contact information plus any optional comments. Then click Submit to complete the application. Note that when submitting a selling application for a brand enrolled in Amazon Brand Registry, you're specifically requesting approval to match offers to the brand's existing product detail pages. This approval doesn't provide you with additional listing privileges to create or edit product detail pages for the brand, or access to brand selling benefits like stores and A+ content. Those additional privileges and benefits are reserved for sellers internal to the brand and authorized third-party resellers. If you'd like more information about requesting additional listing privileges and brand selling benefits, see our Seller University video, Request Access to Brand Selling Benefits. Now that you know how to request an approval for a product that's already sold in the Amazon store, let's review how to request approval for a new product. You'll start the process the same way, double-checking that there's no existing listing for your item. Search for the product using the Product Adding tool. If it doesn't appear in the search results, click the Create a New Listing button. During the listing creation process, you'll find out if your new product requires a category approval when you select a product type. You can search or browse product types and will see a Learn More button with a lock. Click the button to open our help page, Categories and Products that Require Approval. Then find and click the Request Approval link next to the relevant product category. This will bring you to the Selling Application for Category page, which you can complete using the same steps we reviewed earlier. You'll find out if you need to complete a selling application for a registered brand a little later in the listing creation process while entering information for the new product detail page. After entering or selecting the brand's name in the brand name field, you'll receive error 5461. You can use the link in the error message to access the Selling Application for Catalog Authorization page, which lets you request approval to list and sell the item for the brand. As part of the application, you'll provide a letter of authorization from the brand, as well as product information and images to create the new ASIN and product detail page. Note that this is the only scenario in which a seller other than the brand owner or another seller granted listing privileges for the brand can apply to create a new listing for a brand enrolled in Amazon Brand Registry. After completing a selling application for a product, category, or brand, you'll receive confirmation within 24 hours that we're reviewing your approval request. In most cases, that review process is completed within 3 business days. To monitor the status of a selling application, hover over Catalog in the Seller Central main menu and then click View Selling Applications. Once the status of an application is approved, click the List Products button to start adding products to your inventory. This concludes our training on applying to sell a product, category, or brand. Thank you and happy selling in the Amazon store. Welcome to our training, Request Access to Brand Selling Benefits. After a brand enrolls in Amazon Brand Registry, it has greater control over the information that appears on its product detail pages. It also has access to a suite of selling benefits designed to enhance its performance in the Amazon store. Those benefits include stores, A+ content, and sponsored brands campaigns, as well as the brand dashboard and Amazon Brand Analytics. If you're an Amazon seller who has a relationship with a registered brand, you can use one of 2 processes to request listing privileges and access to the brand's selling benefits. Sellers internal to a registered brand use an automated process in Seller Central, while third-party resellers with authorization from the brand use a manual process. Both these processes provide sellers with the privileges needed to create and update a registered brand's product detail pages. Sellers internal to a brand also receive access to a full suite of selling benefits, while authorized resellers receive a more limited set of selling benefits. Let's review both processes. Before we begin, note that requesting listing privileges and selling benefits access is different than applying to sell a brand's products in the Amazon store. That separate process is sometimes required for sellers unaffiliated with a registered brand when they want to match offers to the brand's product detail pages. If you'd like more information about completing a selling application for a registered brand, search for our training, Apply to Sell a Product, Category, or Brand in Seller University. If you're internal to a brand enrolled in Amazon Brand Registry, you can request listing privileges and selling benefits access with a few quick clicks. Start by opening the Seller Central main menu. Hover over Brands and select All Brand Benefits. Next, click the View Registered Brands button. You'll see a list of the brands you sell in the Amazon store on the Brand Benefit Eligibility page. To request listing privileges and selling identify as the brand owner button next to it, then the Submit Request button in the pop-up menu. If you don't have access to the brand benefit eligibility page, you can still request listing privileges and selling benefits access for a brand by contacting seller support instead. After you submit a request as a seller internal to a registered brand, the original seller who enrolled the brand or another approved administrator can review your request in the Amazon Brand Registry portal. If they grant you listing privileges and selling benefits access, you'll receive email confirmation. Then you can navigate to Stores, A+ Content, and Sponsored Brands in Seller Central to start using those tools. Or navigate to the Brand section of the main menu to use tools like the Brand Dashboard, Amazon Brand Analytics, and Virtual Bundles. If you're an authorized third-party reseller for a brand enrolled in the Amazon Brand Registry, you can request listing privileges and selling benefits access using a manual process. This will provide you with the same listing privileges enjoyed by sellers internal to a brand, along with access to brand selling benefits outside that brand's section. That includes Stores, A+ Content, and Sponsored Brands, as well as access to upload and manage videos on product detail pages. To request access, start by securing supporting documentation from the brand that verifies your relationship. This could be a distribution agreement or other official correspondence. Then reach out to Amazon Seller Support. When you contact Seller Support, provide the name of the brand and your supporting documentation, and confirm that you're requesting listing privileges and access to selling benefits as an authorized reseller. We'll review your request to verify eligibility and either confirm that you've been granted listing privileges and selling benefits access or ask for more information. This concludes our training on requesting selling benefit access for a brand enrolled in Amazon Brand Registry. Thank you and happy selling in the Amazon store.